Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. This is Akram Shaban, and I'm here back with Versan. How are you, Versan? How's everything with you?
I'm doing great, Akram, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you. What you're doing is truly commendable, and that's really just seeking knowledge and trying to share it with others. It's, I think, one of the most important things we can do in these times. And I think it's important that we understand that we've handed over most of our control to financial future to central banks, institutions that wield immense power over our lives, inflict economic conditions, and really they're the ones who dictate our economic conditions that impact every one of us. So, one thing we haven't lost is our voice. And that's really our last line of defense. So it's more powerful than most people realize. And I think we have a responsibility, like yourself, to shout from the rooftops to let people know the reality of the situation and not just be passive participants in the system. So we have the power to really inform, educate, and resist. So, Akram, I sincerely applaud what you're doing and your efforts to raise awareness and spark those crucial conversations like this one today. So thanks for having me on.
Of course, yeah. What we're doing here is, of course, unfiltered, and we need to, of course, address a lot of things that's going on. And yeah, Versan, it's an honor for me too to hop on with you and speak to you. So
Mhm.
salute. But yeah, so let's jump into it right now. We have a lot of things I need to speak to you about, and a lot of my audience, your audience as well, needs to get themselves educated on the XRP myths that's going on, which is, for example, the XRP cannot be pegged to gold. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't even know where to start. Okay, so let's set the record straight on some of these myths that are floating around about XRP. First of all, I'd like to say that there are a lot of voices out there, particularly on platforms like YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it, who claim to truly understand XRP, but they really don't have their facts straight. Many of these people haven't done the deep research that my brother and I and yourself have done. They haven't poured over the actual documents from the very institutions that are actively adopting and developing these technologies. The reality is that 90% of what you hear on X and YouTube is really just hype and misinformation. So, one of the biggest myths I would like to debunk is really the idea that XRP will never, first of all, gain traction or that its price will always remain stagnant. The notion that the price of XRP will never reach all-time highs and higher prices than what most people like to think is pure nonsense. XRP, people forget, is the backbone of liquidity in these markets. And it's really what connects, bridges, and even stabilizes currencies. So for XRP to effectively serve its purpose, the price has to be high. And many people don't understand this. And I firmly believe that the IMF is really playing a key role in ensuring this. There's a lot happening behind the scenes that the general public is not aware of, partly because they haven't done their research, or perhaps they're just too reluctant to dig deeper, like my brother and I have. XRP is essentially in a situation like a pre-IPO phase, I'm sorry, for the world's financial institutions. So think of it like this. Central banks are sitting at the table, they're setting the stage, agreeing on a price before it's fully introduced into the marketplace, because for XRP to be utilized to move trillions and trillions of dollars between financial institutions, it's going to burn, and that will reduce its supply. And this is all about supply and demand. And that is really where the functionality is, and it drives its price even higher. So the burn rate really ensures that XRP's value can only increase as it becomes more integrated into the global financial system. Another point that really needs clarification is the concept of a gold-backed XRP. Now, over the years, personally, I've said a lot of things, and I want people to understand that I've learned as I've gone about this, and I've learned more about the technology. I've learned more about what the central banks are really trying to do here. And there is still a chance that XRP could be tied to gold, functioning really as a form of a digital gold for institutions that lack the necessary physical gold reserves to meet the Basel III requirements by the Bank of International Settlements. So XRP's design was for infinite scalability. And as a world reserve settlement mechanism, which it is actually intended to do, or replace the dollar's functionality. So I want people to understand the devil's in the detail. It's designed to replace the functionality of the dollar, not eliminate the dollar. And people often fail to really understand this because they don't truly understand how the technology works, but also how the traditional financial system works. And that's why my brother and I have tried so hard to bridge these two together. So when people see me on YouTube or on X, I'm trying to talk about the financial system because I'm trying to tie it into where the technology is going. So my final thought is that XRP could enable a gold-backed future through the stable coins that are being built on the XRP ledger, and that's what we see happening. So, like I said, I learn as I go. And these stable coins, where do you think they derive their liquidity directly from? It's XRP through on-demand liquidity. Yet, so many in the space truly fail to see the connection and even underestimate the profound impact that XRP is having on the global financial system. And the truth is that XRP is not just another cryptocurrency that's regulated, by the way. It's the only regulated one, in fact. It is a digital asset that was designed to revolutionize and rethink how money moves across the globe, how value is moving around the world. And its value is actually, I hate using this term, but it's poised to reflect that revolutionary role that we're talking about here. So it's a very interesting technology and is really the secret sauce to where all of this is going and what makes it all work.
Correct. And yeah, this is for everybody for listening, because a lot of people got their head, not in the right path of what it is. But yeah, stable
I'm not
coins.
surprised. I mean,
Yeah.
Akram, it was really our interview with Jimmy Valley that sparked the flames and got this whole X space going. Like all of a sudden, after that 50,000 valuation from Val Hill Capital, we saw thousands of people just emerge from nowhere with no facts, no evidence. All they do is reiterate what we've said. And they use Chat GPT or AI to twist our words and make it seem like it's breaking news. And you can't break a story
Right.
that's been broken.
Correct.
You can't break a story that's already been revealed.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people are actually stealing our work and plagiarizing it.
Right.
So whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, I remember that video, man. That video is amazing. I was like,
I mean, we were the first people to break the story about the World Bank
Yeah.
using XRP as a stablecoin. That was us, and we
Correct.
never got credit for it. By the way, someone else stole our credit, and then the rest of the community really plagiarized it, and that's okay. I don't care as long as people are getting the message. That's what's important for me. You know me, Akram. All I care about is my future, my family, getting us out of this country. And anyways,
Perfect. Yes, exactly. Because yeah, America in the future is not even safe. In the future, I know what we're seeing.
Well, why do you want to stay in a burning castle?
Exactly.
Yeah, you flee.
Right.
In fact, that's what the experts are saying. The real experts out there are saying that you need to get the hell out of America before 2030. I think it's more like 25.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'll come to my next bullet point, which is escalation of war. So
yeah,
there's a lot of war escalations, a lot of countries threatening other countries that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be bombing you. I'll be hitting you with missiles, drones. So what do you think about that? Or what are the things we need to be aware and ready for when it comes to this escalation of war?
That's a good question. Well, first of all, I'd like to address that the war and the atrocities that we're seeing in the Middle East, it's very clear that we're witnessing something far more insidious than just regional conflict. Many of us know that most of the central intelligence agencies are behind most of the conflict we see in the Middle East. And I think what we're really seeing is a currency war. There is a struggle for economic dominance as nations attempt to move away from the US dollar and move towards alternatives. And for instance, XRP is one of them. So the shift is really shaking the very foundation of the world we live in. It's shaking the foundation of the global economic order. And as a result, I think the United States, which is the leading superpower still, is rapidly declining as a result of this. And in fact, I'd like to be more honest and blunt, if I may, it's becoming more apparent that America is really heading towards a third world status, which is exacerbated by mass immigration, the open borders, and what you see happening in the United States, all the criminal activity, et cetera, et cetera. I can go on forever about this alone. But this strategy is intended to really overwhelm and collapse the United States from within. It's called the Cloward-Piven strategy, which my brother actually revealed to the world a long time ago. And I'm sure this was already out there, but Mark Moss also plagiarized our work and took that credit from us bringing it back to the surface of what we're seeing playing out in the real world in real time. So let's just be honest. Democracy in the United States, I think, is bullshit. I think it's a facade. And I can confirm this actually with logic. Over the last 20 years, none of us have really had a say in the critical decisions that have been made in this country to reshape the world and reshape history and reshape our lives. So the system most people are clinging to already, even with Donald Trump coming in, is already dead. Yet many people want to, they don't want to accept it. They fail to grasp the true consequences of what's happening around them. They don't want to acknowledge the truth. And the fact that wars are being waged behind the dollar in our name, the lives that are being lost, and the destruction is really all to maintain the dominance of the United States dollar so that American citizens can really just continue their unsustainable lifestyle. And that's basically maxing out credit cards and spending money they don't really have on things they don't really need. It's the truth, I swear. Yeah. And people don't want to accept that. So the war is not just about maintaining power. It's about really accelerating the transition to a new economic system. And the chaos and destruction that we're seeing is really just setting the stage for the digitization, the rise of blockchain technology, especially in the BRICS nations. And I'm telling you right now, XRP is going to play a very central and pivotal role in this shift, working alongside initiatives like Project Enbridge by the BRICS nations to create a new global financial infrastructure. And ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening out there, this is not speculation. It's a reality that's unfolding as we speak. And those who fail to recognize this, I promise you, are going to get left behind. In the end, what's really happening is not just geopolitical struggles. It's really a competition to complete reordering of the world's new financial system. And the United States is really, the people in the United States are clinging to the past while the rest of the world continues to move forward towards a future where digital currencies like XRP are going to be at the center of this. And unfortunately, the war, tragic as it is simply accelerating the inevitable.
Correct. Right. Yeah, I also covered the Enbridge project recently in my videos. I suggest everybody to check it out.
Yeah.
Really, I had some research that I found out too. They have like PDF published everywhere about this Enbridge project, and everything is involved with XRP. XRP is always involved in Enbridge. So yeah.
I mean, there's no secret anymore. It's not secret. It used to be at one point. But this is out in the open. People are free to do their research, but people don't have time to do their research because they're working their jobs. They're too busy trying to fill a hole that really isn't there. When they go out and drink and have fun and party, whatever, go to the club. I used to live that lifestyle, but it was really in 2020 when I saw the pandemic happen. I knew what the fuck they were doing. They were resetting the system. And I said to myself and my brother, he said to me, we need to get in on this. We need to participate in whatever's happening because, we're not fools. We're not just going to sit there like sitting ducks and let this new financial elite class just steal our rights, our freedom, and our financial freedom.
Correct.
Yeah.
Man, this is amazing because we're always trying to educate people into like, hey, this is what's going on. I mean, it's also a gift and it's a blessing for us to have this knowledge, but it's better to also, of course, educate people who are watching us.
I'm always trying to educate people. It's just many people don't listen, and that's fine. I don't care anymore. I used to care, but now I really don't.
Yeah,
it's natural selection.
You can't save everybody. But
it's natural selection.
But to the ones who listen, like, of course, themselves as themselves, when they look at themselves in the mirror, they're happy with what they know and they're knowledgeable about, right?
Yeah.
So,
let's speak Arabic for the rest of the conversation. No,
oh my God.
Imagine that.
We'll have Arabian audience going on, speaking on the comment section
Yeah, one day. Yalla.
one day. All right. So, of course, another bullet point that we need to speak about: what causes currency losing purchasing power?
So the first thing I want people to understand is that before I started studying blockchain and crypto and whatever we see happening in the world, I did take the time, about a year, to understand pretty much how the financial system really works, like the cogs behind it, the mechanism. And the truth is, currency and debt is something that go hand in hand, but at the same time, many people don't fully understand it, including myself. I'm still learning, but it's crucial as a foundation to understand the state of the economy today and pretty much what debt and currency is and how it works hand in hand together. So, as pretty much as currency loses its value directly as a result of debt, basically every time we print money to cover other debt that we already have, we are essentially stealing a fraction of purchasing power from every dollar already in circulation. So basically, here's an equation for those mathematicians out there: is that debt equals currency devaluation. And it's really that simple. The fact that we have debt already, some people out there already acknowledge that one day we will have a currency crisis, which is what's happening right now. And that's why we're in war. So when we witness the dollar weakening, it's not really a surprise at this point. Somebody like me who took the time to understand this. But I will admit, when I was younger, I did not understand this at all, in fact. But it's really clear. Basically, America is collapsing, and it's a collapsing empire. Our status of the world's reserve currency is all but dead, in my opinion. And the truth is, we've already lost close to 99% of our purchasing power. And most Americans today remain very clueless, and people around the world. And they wonder why inflation keeps rising. But the real issue is not inflation. Inflation is just representation, taxation without representation. So inflation doesn't really exist. The truth is, behind the inflation, and that's why I don't talk to a lot of mainstream experts, is that the continuous decline of our purchasing power is really what's going on. And many people go to the grocery store and they look at the prices that are much higher. But the truth is, the price isn't higher of the goods and services. It's that the currency has devalued. It's worth less, worthless. And what people call inflation is really just a symptom. And the root cause is currency devaluation, like I said. So who's responsible for that? You have to ask the right questions. It's really the central banks, which are aided and abetted by the very politicians in power. So when selfish, ignorant Americans elect selfish, ignorant politicians, you're going to get the same thing. Garbage in, garbage out. And that's really what's happening. So Americans really need to wake up and realize that currency devaluation is inevitable. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of people being forced back to hard assets. Many people are selling their currency, in fact, for assets. And that's when they do the transaction of goods and services. So whether really this is through blockchain or some other mechanism, we are going to be cornered, I think, where everybody is going back to gold. And, let me add this. It's like, many states already in America are quietly moving in this direction, and they're doing it very quietly. They're following in the footsteps of the BRICS nations, slowly transitioning back to a gold standard, making it acceptable. They're making all these policies that make gold a centerpiece in where this is all going. And it's scary because they don't want the public to know about it. And why? It's because Americans, first of all, don't understand what's happening. And the thing is, they'll out of fear, which we're going to get into in a bit here shortly, is that they'll lose confidence in the system that is basically robbing them for years, which is robbing them blindly, if I may add. And the system really thrives on keeping people in the dark, keeping people ignorant and stupid about how the monetary system really works. The reality is that a major shift is coming, and it's always better to be prepared than caught off guard. So while most Americans and people in general continue to believe in the illusion of stability, and don't get me wrong, I play the markets too, but I know what's really behind it, the mechanism. The smart ones, like us and others out there, are really paying attention to what's really happening. And it comes down to this: the dollar's days are numbered. And it's only a matter of time before the truth really comes out and can no longer be ignored. So the sooner, my advice, the sooner people really understand this, the sooner they can start making the decisions to protect themselves, protect their futures, their families in a rapidly changing world.
Right, right. Yeah, I just want to add on to that because also what people and Americans don't know and ignorant about is cyber attacks. And get ready for cyber attacks. Even the people who are retail investors who are investing on XRP and XLM and all these amazing cryptocurrencies that don't have a hardware wallet and they're just having their cryptocurrencies sitting on the exchanges. So I want you to tell everybody about how is this cyber attack going to unfold.
Okay, Matt, I'm sorry, guys. I'm
Also,
out
by
of breath.
the way, people don't even talk about cyber attacks, so we need to really, we got to look at what's going on in the future, what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm a little out of breath. I've been talking so fast I didn't even realize it. So
That's
I
okay.
hope your audience can understand what I'm saying. I just speak so fast. And it's because I have so many things on my mind at the same time, and they're all trying to come out at once. And it's like, no, Versan, you have to finish one sentence and then jump into the next.
No, it's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
sorry. So, okay, cyber attacks. All right, where can we start on this? Okay, cyber attacks, I think, are just going to increase because we're in a digital age. So basically, with the rapid digitization of everything, they are really set to become the biggest threat I think we face in the nearby future. And the scary part is that as more people move towards digital money, like crypto, they don't really understand the vulnerabilities that do come with it. Digital assets like your crypto can easily be compromised by cyber threats. And that's really something I personally emphasize at Black Swan Capitalist. This is what we teach. We teach people specific strategies on how to mitigate, protect yourself, and secure your future in the evolving landscape. Um, we can also look back from the warnings that we've seen from major institutions like the World Economic Forum and the Atlantic Press Council, and even the Biden administration. Incidents like CrowdStrike, which took place recently, that is really just a test run for a larger attack that might be inevitably coming. And this is why it's so crucial for people to store, crypto investors specifically, to store their crypto assets on cold storage, which means off the internet. So it's not hackable, it's not compromised by what's on the internet. You can store it on the blockchain, which is really off the internet. So cold storage is something I always emphasize, and it's important to also have plenty of physical gold for those out there who don't have a lot of crypto, and have some cash on hand because of emergencies. I personally believe that in the near future, we will see a cyber attack on the banking system. And I'll tell you why, because this connects into some of the things we talked about earlier, like currency and debt. If we're in a fight for the currency of the dollar, and it could be an inevitable solution for them to steal the money, rob the people at the same time, and blame it on Russia or China. And that will give the US government immense power and also support from a very ignorant population like 9/11 as an excuse to go to war. And this will be done, again, to sustain the dollar's dominance, which is really debt based, which means we need to print more money to go to war. And that's really just morally bankrupting the system. That has really led to so much suffering and loss of life. It's the dollar. You really want to stop the military industrial complex, you got to kill the dollar, okay? And if many people disagree, you can go fuck yourselves. That's the truth, okay?
Exactly.
It's the truth. Yeah, people don't like the truth because it forces them to change and adopt. So
Yeah.
for me, it's really concerning just to see how many ignorant Americans are, how many ignorant people there are. I'm sorry, I don't want to just narrow it down to America. But many people are being blindly led to the slaughterhouse. And cyber threats, I think, with all this hype around digital currency, can manifest in so many ways. And I suspect that the most significant one will certainly come from within our own institutions. Basically, our governments may be very well responsible for the next one that does take place, and they'll still point the finger elsewhere. This is what they do: problem, reaction, solution. To gain the support from a very naive population. And this is why I strongly encourage people to own physical gold. Personally, at the end of the day, I'm the one who owns the most gold in this crypto space. I have so much gold, it's insane, more than digital assets, even though I teach the technology. Because at the end of the day, I think everything else is tied to the dollar, including the cryptos that you might have purchased, which we bought with dollars, right? Which is really just another form of debt in itself. So most people don't like to think about this reality, but it really is the truth. The dollar is a debt piece, a debt instrument from the central bank. So if you're buying XRP or other cryptocurrencies with dollars, well, whose dollar is that? It's the central banks. It's their debt. So does that mean they have ownership to it? I'm just speculating, okay, guys? I'm not trying to drive people crazy. So it's just people need to be prepared, not just with the financial safeguards, but also with practical resources like food, water, and other emergency supplies. In the scenario where all systems go down, a cyber threat on the global financial system, and I promise you, this could happen. It would be very serious. People would go to war real fast to get basic necessities, survival. Of course, they'll put a predetermined solution. And I'm not trying to sell fear here, but that's what I believe the central bank digital currencies are being designed for and readily adopted for this situation, predetermined solution, as they call it. So this would be a way for them to sell fear to people. And I want people to understand out there who, especially those who understand like the Bible, the Quran, if you're a religious folk, it's important that you understand that in these books, it teaches that fear is really just the definition for false evidence appearing real. And fear is sold to the people to control the masses. So if you have no fear and you're prepared and responsible based on what we're talking about here, their agenda is going to crumble. And that's the hard message to get out to people. The key is really to resisting this manipulation is simple. Be informed, be proactive, and be self-reliant. That's how you teach people to beat the system at its own game. So when you're ready for what's coming, you take away their primary weapon, which is fear. And that's how I think we can stand strong in the face of whatever the hell they give us, whatever challenges lie ahead.
Correct. Yeah, I actually was looking at some news. Iran got themselves, they got a hit by a cyber attack to their central bank in Iran. And guess who did it? I found out it was the FBI and the CIA.
I'm not surprised. And the thing is, Iran recently joined the BRICS nations. I wonder why they would, do a cyber attack on their financial system. It's to create the reliance on the dollar. Remember, the weapon that they have is selling fear. If they can sell fear to you, like, hey, that's not going to work. You need dollars. Maybe that's their game. I'm just speculating, but let me tell you something. It's healthy speculation and it's calculated too, based on what we know.
Right. Well, this concludes our video here, Versan. You have anyone to do anything and shed some light on before we wrap it up?
I think I've said everything I need to, but I want people to check us out at blackswancapitalist.io. If you're interested in learning about these things in more detail, book a session with us and we'll be happy to teach it to you. We also do provide documents, sensitive documents that confirm what we're talking about as far as which digital assets are going to play a center role in the new monetary system. And of course, I'm alluding to XRP. Besides that, I want people to understand you have to have empathy, compassion. Love is the answer to all the problems that we see in the world today. And I know it sounds very cliche, but that's the answer. We need to love more. We need to be kind to each other. Again, their weapon is to divide and conquer. So if we can mitigate that with love, very simple things, it's a feeling. They can't take that away from us. And that's why they hate love. They want to divide us so we don't love. And I think that's the greatest weapon. Money is really just a tool to keep us in line. I mean, a lot of people, I know people say we're in a great awakening. I say bullshit.
Yeah.
This is a late awakening. I've been asking these questions for more than a decade. I've been feeling them too. I just didn't understand them. Now I have my voice. And I encourage your listeners out there to create YouTube channels, to create podcasts, talk about these things. That is our weapon, our voice, something God gave us. Be proud. Don't have too much pride, though. Pride cometh before a fall. Never forget
Exactly.
Proverbs.
Exactly. I mean, that's why you pushed me to speak on a lot of things because I've been into the cryptocurrency for a big while, but I just never wanted to be in the face of the public, right? And
Yeah,
yeah, but
neither
you
did
pushed
I.
me. Yeah, but you showed me that I have value. I had an obligation to speak and open a podcast, open a channel to tell people my experiences, right? And I thank you, Versan, for pushing because you're right, man. Our voice is the only weapon we have, and love.
The only defense, only defense. They've taken everything, so we got to fight back with our voice. If everyone can unite under the same voice, and that's just really common sense.
Right.
Whether you don't
Exactly.
understand it or you do, it has nothing to do with it. Common sense is something that comes from here. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. If you can live upon that, maybe we have a solution. But we need more people to critically think.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for staying tuned here on the channel and on its amazing podcast with Versan here. So, of course, we'll do this again, unfiltered. So, if you guys
Unfiltered.
want to check out,
Thanks
of
to
course,
wine for that. You know, the
yeah,
wine is what keeps me unfiltered. Usually, when I'm doing podcast, I have to, you know, carry
dude,
myself differently.
the real people is the one who drink. They like you when you sit next to them, like they drink like a wine, right? Or any alcoholic beverage. They speak truth, like all their pain. Like I just said, with somebody just opens a book to me and just like tells me what is going on with themselves, or of course the information they know, and as you do it, of course,
Well,
unfiltered.
I'll share a quick story with you, real quick, for your
Yeah.
audience too. So, I have a dear friend who's from the MI6, military intelligence of the Department of Defense in the UK. He's retired. He was basically a former James Bond. I'm not joking. I've seen the pictures. It's
Oh,
fucking crazy.
wow.
And one night we go to the rooftop and we start drinking. He starts revealing all these crazy stuff that gave me a doorway to really do my research privately. And the more he drank, the more he revealed. So I remember, I'm not kidding, his glass finished, and I would be like, "Have some more." Pour him. Like, tell me more. Come on. Yeah. So he would do that, and he really taught me a lot and taught me how to ask the right questions. Of course, my original mentor is Gregory Mannarino, who taught me the foundation of the financial landscape, and I have so much respect for Gregory Mannarino. And I think once you get an understanding of just how the financial system works, you begin to understand pretty much how the world works. And as a result of that, you can start doing your research into
Yeah.
the United Nations, CIA operations, because it really all ties back to money. Again, money is a tool. So, anyways, I don't want to stretch it out. I thank you. I thank your audience for having me on and listening to me. So, I really appreciate it, Akram.
Of
And you're
course,
doing
of
a good
course.
job.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, just family members, so I speak, because we always like have that connection of like saying things unfiltered. So it's amazing.
Unfiltered is the best way. And believe me, we need it more
Exactly,
than ever.
exactly. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you check out the website if you want to book a session. We'll be amazingly grateful for that. But thank you guys for watching, and make sure you like, subscribe, and also support Versan's channel. I mean, I wouldn't be here without him. So thank you guys, and be safe. Good night. Take care.
Take care.